What up, everybody? This is Dregs One. Welcome to a very special episode of the History of the Bay, filmed here today in LA. Thanks to the homie Bootleg Kev, DJ MN for the assist. We got my boy Cook behind the lens getting us right. And today, I got a very special guest with me, man. When we talk about the city of San Francisco and the people and the culture that comes out of the city, this is one of them guys that I've been looking up to for a long time. It's been certain cats that was fly, getting money, hustling in legitimate ways, putting this game on display and letting people like me know it's possible to come from skating, graffiti, streets, whatever it is you into, and make it on a worldwide scale. You know, I'm talking about the one and only Diamond Supply Company. The one and only Nick Tershay, a.k.a. Nicky Diamonds,
what up,
in
man?
the building, long overdue.
Yeah, I've been wanting to come through and do this for a while, so it's cool you came to LA.
I had to hit you, came through like a last minute type thing, and it all worked out, bro.
Right on.
Yeah.
Glad I could make it.
Well, I wasn't bullshitting, bro. Like, I've been seeing from the outside looking in for a long time, just the elevation. And even when I would come down here and fuck around at like Fairfax or something and go to the store, like we always recognize that Diamond is some Frisco shit, like first and foremost.
Yeah, well, right on. I mean, I'm from the city. My family's from the city. Multiple generations from San Francisco. My grandfather was born in San Francisco. My dad. My parents met at Macy's in Union Square.
Wow.
Yeah.
At Macy's.
Yeah, they both used to work there selling women's shoes. My mom and my dad, yeah.
Okay.
And then I ended up working there at one point.
Wow.
Yeah, when I was, youngster.
Yeah, there's only a few of us left that really like remember that blue collar, working class, grassroots San Francisco. Doesn't really exist anymore.
Yeah, for sure. City's different.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely different. But, I've been in LA for a long time now. But when I go back, I just, from an outsider, I guess when you live there, you would notice the changes, not as much maybe. Because I think as an outsider now, when I go back, it's forever changing. But just like anything, when you're living somewhere, it might just seem normal. But when I go back, I can tell. I'm like, damn, this isn't San Francisco like it used to be at all. But it's still cool. It's a sick city. It's beautiful. Beautiful as always.
I agree.
So, yeah, always a special place in my heart for San Francisco, of course.
Yeah, I live there now, and it doesn't feel normal. It's all my brain is always like processing, like, wait, what happened here? But I still love like the architecture, the views, the parks, some of the people that's left, some of the establishments that's still there. Like I love like that old school, world class, World's Fair type of vibe. Like I think of all the people writing poetry outside the cafes and
sure.
Walking around Union Square with the fedoras and hopping
It's
on
like
cable
Paris,
cars.
bro.
Yeah, exactly.
It's definitely the Paris of the United States.
Yes.
Or was.
Yeah.
Was at one point.
What part did you grow up in specifically?
A lot of different places. So my San Francisco story really is that when I was born, we lived right next to City College. Like literally walking distance.
Phelan Avenue.
On Flood.
On Flood, okay.
Yeah, so we lived over there.
Monterey Boulevard, quick and convenient.
Yeah, but only till I was 3.
Uh-huh.
Then when I was 3, my dad, he was he worked at Macy's still, but he got a substitute teaching job in San Jose. So we moved to Cupertino when I was 3. And back then it was still like, this is way back. It was still like underdeveloped.
Right.
Back then. So I lived there. That's where I started skateboarding as a kid. My mom grew up in Santa Cruz before she moved to the city. So she was a surfer. And my whole roots of like all my relatives are kind of like surf skate on her side. They grew up skateboarding and surfing and shit. So even my grandmother gave me a skateboard when I was like 3. So me and my brother would go down the driveways and shit. But yeah, so that was from 3 till 13. I was in Cupertino and skateboarding, getting in lots of trouble and blah blah blah, and then like lots of trouble. I was a troubled kid, you might say. So at 13, I went back to San Francisco in a group home. So yeah, and I did 13 to 18 in a group home in San Francisco.
Which one?
It's called St. Nicholas.
Okay.
But first one was on Sloat, right off of 19th, and then I was at Silver Mission. I was all over. Honestly, I was in like 10. I kept getting kicked out because I was still a bad kid back then.
Yeah.
But,
What was it?
I lived all over the city.
Were
in
you
these
just
damn group homes?
mischievous, or was it something where you
Everything.
just everything,
Everything,
just getting into trouble,
stealing, selling weed, acid. As a little kid, like that's what I was doing in San Jose from like 9 till 13. I was just a little fucker,
11-year-old slanging acid tabs.
Yeah, punk rock, rap music, skateboarding, selling acid, taking acid, just doing dumb little kid shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I did that till I was 18. But during that time, I was skateboarding, and of course, and went to like 10 different high schools.
I mean, it's crazy though, because it's like the streets is also where so much of the culture comes from. So like when you're out and about getting into trouble, at the same time, like you're hanging out with your friends, you're meeting people. So it's like there's ways to find like a positive in that, or like that's how you get exposed. You can't really get exposed to that shit if you're just in the house doing your homework.
Yeah. And that's how, as a kid, I met my like family that I would call my family, which is all my friends at Embarcadero, because I didn't have anybody. I just had them, really. So I'd go there and skate every day for years. We would just hang out down there and skate, and then we'd hang out at Lower Haight. That was like our thing. We'd go to Embarco, go to Lower Haight. And that's where I just grew up, like around there mostly, downtown and in the Haight as a kid, just skating and smoking and drinking and no worries in the world. But a lot of time at Youth Guidance Center.
Oh, yeah. You got caught.
A lot.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah.
Cross street from McAteer. Yep. Yeah. So that was my upbringing in San Francisco, really. And then, just really the skateboarding thing led me to wanting to do my own brand.
Well, when you mentioned the Santa Cruz, like I love all that shit too, like the surfer and the Santa Cruz skateboards. That's the one with the hand logo, right? The crazy hand.
Oh, Santa Cruz.
Yeah.
The Rob Ross cop.
Yeah, like all that artwork was really epic, and Santa Cruz is like got their own culture too when it comes to the surfing and the skating. So it's interesting just to hear that you were like exposed to that like very early.
Yeah, in San Francisco for skateboarding was crazy. All the hills. So,
Yeah.
of course, when and why I ended up back in San Francisco too is because they said they were either going to put me at the Boys Ranch for a year or San Francisco in a group home for 4 years, and I was like, damn, I'll go to the city and skate, obviously. So, but that is why I ended up where I am now in life, was because of doing that.
Absolutely.
So I wouldn't take any of it back.
And your brother was skating as well, so
Yep.
he was with you some of those times.
Yeah, so he stayed in San Jose until, when I was 18, my dad rented a house. So when I got out of the group home, my dad rented a flat on 9th Ave, 9th and Moraga, and we lived there for a year. My brother came and moved in, me and my brother, and then he ended up getting some girl pregnant, and he had a baby, and we were so young. But anyway, then I moved out, and then he moved out. But yeah, so I lived there for a year. But yeah, basically lived with my dad for a year. And that was cool. And then he moved to Santa Cruz. So me and my brother just went and did our own things.
Oh, so he went so Joey Tershay he went pro, right?
He was a pro skater.
Mm-hmm.
We both rode for a bunch of companies and shit. But then he ended up being, during that time, he became the team manager of Independent Trucks. So he worked there, first at Deluxe, and then at Thrasher, and then at Indy. And he did that for 15 years. I got a job at FTC. I was also skating. I was getting a little money from skating. I was working at FTC. I was working at Macy's. I'd work part-time at Nordstrom's. I was always just trying to get
hustling.
Yeah. I was and I was selling. Most of the product companies would send me. I'd go down to Embarcadero and sell that. And then we were just doing that. And I worked at Thrasher too. I worked at Thrasher in the shipping, in the warehouse, shipping all the Thrasher merch and Slap magazine merch and shit. So, and I was skating for Think skateboards at the time. Think and Indy and Spitfire and all that shit. But yeah.
Man, Nicky, I
guess I'm a real San Francisco person.
Nah, because, bro, I never skated, right?
Yeah.
I could ride. I could do a little baby ollie, right? But all this stuff you're naming, I grew up with because I had so many friends that were skating these were just spots to hang out, go kick it at Pier 7, smoke a blunt. This is just a big part of the culture. Even getting fly, even going to FTC just to cop a shirt or cop some shoes or whatever. And just knowing that like we had access to all this stuff in our backyard, bro. Yeah. Thrasher, Independent, Deluxe, all these legendary brands you just named were like all popping in the city.
Yeah, crazy. And then I moved to Fulton and Pierce in like 94. Yeah, so in 94 I was on Fulton and Pierce for years. So I was right there for a long time. And I started Diamond 98.
I definitely want to get to that. Before we get to that, I do want to know though, like from your perspective, what was the skating scene like at Embarcadero? What were some of the moments, some of the people, some of the things that made that so special?
So Embarcadero, we didn't really know what was happening, of what it became, because it became, the mecca of street skating. We were all going down there like really young. We were like really young kids coming down there and skating. And there was other people there. When we first started coming down, like people would come skate there, like Tommy Guerrero and all these dudes, Bryce Knights, Danny Sargent, and all of them. But we were like the younger ones, and when it really became a crew and a thing, it was because of us, the younger kids, because those guys would come down and skate, but they wouldn't really just hang there. But we didn't really have anywhere else to go. That's what it was. We were all like, it was me, Mike Carroll, Javante, Rick Abisetta, James Kelch, Shelby, all these dudes. We were all, kind of around the same age. And we would just go down there and skate, and everyone got really good at skating. So yeah, most of my friends, almost all of my friends turned pro. And the magazine started coming down and taking pictures of all of us. And then, people would film for all their skateboard parts down there. And over time, it was just like so much skating was evolving just out of Embarcadero that it, transcended to become this mecca of street skating where everyone from around the world started moving to San Francisco. Skaters were literally packing up from everywhere in the world to come skate in San Francisco and try to become a pro skater. It was because of EMB. And Thrasher was in San Francisco, so it made sense. So that's how that all happened, and it was our crew, EMB, and people couldn't really, there'd be fights, there'd be a lot of stuff going on down there. I wouldn't like to say that we were a gang, but I guess we were, because it was like our crew, because that's,
I'll say crew. I guess crew is probably appropriate. Yeah.
Crew is a better word.
Y'all was holding it down, you was regulating the spot.
Yeah, exactly. We were regulating the spot. And a lot went down there, and it really, a lot of fashion from now, how kids are dressing now. We kind of made up down there with all the baggy pants and shit.
Yeah.
Skating and Jordans and all that stuff was like a city thing.
Skating
You know,
with some Jordans.
Because in here in LA, there was like a lot of people that we knew from LA that were all fresh like us, from LA that we'd skate with. But the main scene here was kind of more beach or gangster too. Like a lot of the Venice dudes, they were pretty like gang affiliate type of dudes. But I feel like in the city, we were more into like fashion back then, and we'd skate in Jordans and Nikes and Tommy and Polo and Nautica and all that shit back then. When that was popping and like, hip hop and stuff, we were like those type of skaters, and people used to look at us weird. They'd be like, what are these dudes? They look like kind of gangster hip hop dudes, but they're like skateboarding. Like it's kind of weird, right? Like it wasn't the norm.
Well, there's like an intersection with the music too, right? Because a lot of the music was in the videos or being played.
Yeah, so. Souls of Mischief, like Mike Carroll, Javante, and all like the the H Street videos and Plan B and all that stuff. Mike really like put a lot of their music in his video parts, which helped blow them up. Mm-hmm. They even would come down to Embarcadero and hang sometimes, and I remember this one time they all came down and they would just thanked Mike for putting their music out there.
Yeah, right?
Because it put it global right away. When they're first coming out, being in those videos.
And Dell skates too, I believe.
Yeah, so they were all in, like they like skateboarding. You know what I mean? Like they all thought it was dope. So it really put their music on a global level while they were first coming up, because people would see it in skate videos and shit.
That's what I'm saying.
And they recognized that.
The shit was just so sick. It's like you said, all the stuff I be talking about online is just like all this stuff was happening at once, bro.
Yeah.
Just access, just by hopping on a bus or stepping outside your house, you see all these things coming together at the same time.
Yeah, and again, SF, of course, everyone was doing graffiti. Everyone was tagging. A lot of people were rapping. We had like our own little rappers from EMB, dudes that were putting out little tapes and shit.
Yeah,
Cold Blue.
Shout out my boy Pat Washington.
Pat Washington too. Yeah, and Pat was a pro skater. Mm-hmm. He was down there since he was a little kid. So yeah, EMB was a real thing. Embarco's Most Blunted. That's what our crew's name was.
Yeah, shout out Chris Micro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn, Chris? That's dope. Chris drew a picture back in the day of all of us, like a whole crew. It's like a sick photo. I still have it. It's just a drawing. They made shirts of it and everything. It said EMB with a picture of the crew.
It's interesting, man. Yeah, a lot of that was just a hub of culture, because a lot of people like yourself went on to other businesses, brands, different endeavors. Mm-hmm. So what gave you the motivation to start your company? Because I believe it started with tools, right?
Yeah. So when I was living on Fulton and Pierce in, right there in the Western Addition, Fillmore area, I was working at that time. I was at FTC, Macy's. I don't know, had a couple jobs. I was selling trees. I was doing whatever I could. Mm-hmm. I was living with this girl. We got in some crazy shit. Actually, I went on a skate tour. This is how it all happened. I was sponsored by Think Skateboards at the time. We went on this big skate tour across the country for 2 months. Came back, found out she did some crazy shit. So I just packed up and left. And this is, my dad, how I said he moved to Santa Cruz. I went and lived with him for a year. And then while I was there, I was like, I don't know what the fuck I'm going to do. Right. So I was already like learning how to use the computer, because my boy Al, you've had him on here, Sketch.
Oh man, so, Al Fresco.
Yeah. Yeah. Al Fresco. Me and him used to fuck around on the computer. He used to take me to his school too, and I'd sit there because he went to Academy of Art.
Right.
So he was teaching me how to do graphic design and shit. Yeah, so Al was teaching me how to do graphic design stuff. I always drew and shit when I was young. And I was always into clothes, and I was always like, even, early EMB days, I'd like cut up clothes and sew patches on and, make my pants baggier or whatever. I was just always into clothes and stuff. So when I was there, me and this dude came up with this idea to make, this special hardware, and I was like, oh, this is dope. I'll just make this skateboard hardware invention and then sponsor all my friends that were already pro skaters and shit. And so that was my idea.
So it was it for the
so
trucks?
basically so the bolts that you put the bolts onto through the board and through the trucks, the nuts and bolts that hold the trucks onto the board. So the idea was that and back then it was like a big thing where it's stupid. People still do it sometimes, but back then it was like a thing where when people fuck up a lot skating, they'll just snap their board like on purpose. Call it focusing the board. And then you'd have your shit, but then people always needed tools to set up a new board. So the idea was, instead of having a wrench and a screwdriver, is that the screw was an Allen key, but then the nut was like a dome shaped nut, but it had an Allen key on that side too. So now all you needed to take apart and put together a board was 2 little Allen keys, which you could just put in your pocket.
Keychain type shit.
Basically. So that's how that came about. And me and Al, we were before I moved to Santa Cruz for a year, we were talking about doing a clothing company. We kept coming up with names and shit, but then this thing came up, and I was like, "Fuck, I'm just gonna make a hardware company and design T-shirts and shit." And then I came back to the city before I had the name, and I moved in with Greg Carroll, who owned Think Skateboards at the time. I moved in with him over there in Potrero Hill. And one night we were, I remember exactly how it went down. We were just driving. I was like, fuck, man, I want to do this company. Got to think of a name. And we were driving through the Tenderloin. And back then, the Tenderloin was crazy. This is in mid-97, right before 98. I started the brand 98 officially. But we were driving through the TL. And back then it was just like pimps and hookers and fucking, it was just crazy back then, right? It was insane. Not like it is, the TL is still the TL,
insane.
but it's
a little less pimping.
The pimping's gone. Like not how it used to be, right? It was like every corner. And then, there was still crackheads and all this shit everywhere. And I remember we were driving at night, and Sade, Smooth Operator song came on the radio while we're driving through, and the first words out of her mouth, one of the first words, she says "Diamond Life" in the song. And I was like, damn, Diamond Life. And I've heard the song a million times, obviously, but then it just clicked right then. I was like, damn, Diamond Life. I remember being like, damn, I don't want to live this life, like TL life. I want to live the Diamond Life. I'm going to call that shit Diamond. While we're in the car, I'm like, we're calling this shit Diamond. So I hit up Al right away. I was like, Al, I got a name for my brand. It's Diamond. He's like, come over tomorrow. We'll work on a logo. So I was like, cool. So I went to his house in the morning, and first thing I was like, how should we make the logo look? He's like, just write Diamond 5 times on a piece of paper. So I hand wrote it 5 times, and he scanned it in the computer, and then he cleaned it all up. And then I was like, I'm making skateboard bolts and shit, so probably other skateboard accessories. So put Supply Co. right there down underneath the thing.
Very organic.
Yeah. So it was the first try we busted the logo.
That's fire though, because like Diamond Supply Co., it sounds like you're supplying diamonds, right? Damn near.
Yeah.
Like, so it's like you're dropping gems, right? Yeah. And then that Diamond
but the
Life.
bolts are the diamonds.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
At what point did you decide on the color scheme? Because this is so iconic for your brand.
First it was just all black and red. So my whole shit was black and red. At first, that was like my main thing, and then so when I started Diamond, I actually when I very first started, I stayed at Greg's for a little bit, but then I moved into my boy Julian Stranger, pro skater from San Francisco, legendary guy. I moved in with him on 24th and York.
Damn, he was all over the city, man.
Yeah, I was right there. 24th and York. So I lived there, and we built a mini ramp in the backyard, and we'd skate there every day. But that's when I started like doing the brand, And then I lived there for a year or so because this was like 97. And then in 98, I officially started the brand. I moved over to fell into Viz with my boy. And that's where I started making t-shirts and shit.
Yeah, I heard you lived above Madrone.
Where SF Hardware is.
Ah.
Right there across. Do you remember Reggae Run-Ins?
No.
Oh, it's old school. Reggae Run-Ins was a store right there on the corner of Fell and DeViz.
So this is before Madrone then?
I don't know what Madrone is.
It's right there on Fell and DeViz. It's a little art bar.
Oh, on the corner?
Yeah.
That was empty back then.
Ah.
And then at one point they're proposing to make it a Burger King and everyone said no. Whatever, yeah.
Okay.
But what's the event space? It used to be Kennel Club back in the day. And then it was the Independent.
Yeah, yeah.
It was one block. Yeah, right there in the middle. Right there, SF Hardware. It's still there. So, and it's funny because it's called SF Hardware, and I had a hardware company in the apartment upstairs, one bedroom apartment. It's funny because my boy, we shared the apartment. It was a 1 bedroom. He slept. He built a loft. A lot of people used to do shit back then. He built a loft in the living room because right when you walk in, there's like just a small room. So we built like a little wood deck and had the couch underneath, TV on the wall. So that was our living room, and then he slept above the couch. And then there was a kitchen, little tiny kitchen, and then I had a room to the right, so I had my own room, so I was hyped on that. And then it's a little bathroom, but we had a hallway, and that's where I'd put all my clothes. So I'd make the clothes, and my boy Skid had a print shop right there off of Potrero, actually right behind where the Potrero skate park is now. There's some warehouses right there. He used to have a print shop there before the skate park was there. I print my shit there. I bring it over to the house, have it sitting there, and then I'd ship it out of FTC. So I'd bring it all up to Haight and ship it out of there when I had orders and shit. But that's how I was doing it. I did that for 2 years out of the apartment. And then that's when I met San Quinn and everybody because they were all in the neighborhood. And he was actually the first rapper to wear diamond. But even before that, Chuy Gomez would be on he was on the California Music Channel.
CMC.
Yeah, and he'd be wearing diamond and shit.
Yeah.
I'd give him stuff and so they were the first ones outside of skateboarding that I was like hooking up with product. And I'd just go around the neighborhood putting diamond stickers on everything. And then I was doing that for 2 years. And Mike Carroll, he owned Girl Skateboards now. My friend that I used to skate with Embarcadero, he moved to LA years prior, started Girl Skateboards, Girl and Chocolate Skateboards. They called me. They're like, damn, this shit's crazy. It's like everywhere, like everyone's rocking your shirts. Because even though I was making bolts, the logo, I was selling the shirts. So I was selling shirts well, first off, I was giving shirts to all the skaters and shit, my friends, and they're wearing it in magazines. They're wearing it, in skate videos. And then I was selling it at Supreme in New York because I knew all those guys. And I was selling it at FTC. And then Kent from FTC got me distribution in Japan. So it ended up in like Japanese magazines and shit.
Japan is big on skating.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So those were my first stores. So it was popping like right away, kind of just like the shit. Before I even had like bolts to sell, I was selling t-shirts and hats and sweatshirts. And they hit me up and they were like, and I had a girl, it was funny because I had a girlfriend at the time too in the city. And they called me and they're like, hey man, this shit's crazy. Would you want us to distribute it in LA? I had a girl. And I was like, yeah, that'd be sick. They're like, well, you kind of have to, move here if you want to do it. And I literally got off the phone with them, called the U-Haul. Was like, can you be here at my house tomorrow at fucking 10 a.m.? I packed up all my shit and put it in the U-Haul the next day and moved to LA.
Wow.
Just like that. I was like, I'm not missing this opportunity.
Nah, good call, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, damn, that's epic.
Left my chick and everything.
Good call as well.
Yeah. I was like, sorry, babe, I'm out.
Hey, man, sometimes you got to make that decision.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Wow, it just sounds like it's all like right place, right time. Like you're coming out of this skate culture and then the perfect time to start a brand because this is when skating is blowing up. But like you said, the fashion the flyness of it. And even the this is what I talked about with Al, the designs, how important that was, the logos, the branding, like how the skate companies knew we had to have some fly shit or some interesting shit so the people that's skating for our company can stand out. And it's like so many like business and fashion and hustle lessons that you can learn from studying what happened there.
No, for sure. In San Francisco, like everyone was always, you know, because in the streets of San Francisco, obviously people that were part of our culture, we're all friends with everybody too, like not just skaters. So, you know, and all the Filipino kids that I grew up with, they were all into sneakers and clothes. Like that was like a
Shout
huge
out
thing.
to my Filipinos,
yeah,
man.
all the Filipino kids were super into sneakers. And just like hip hop in general. And then me being in a group home, I was around all the hood kids. So in the group home, it was like, you know, basically the group home was just all black kids from every neighborhood. So it was like I was friends with all these people, like, and I'd meet all their friends from Hunters Point, Fillmore, Lakeview, like all these kids. So I knew all those type of kids from all these different neighborhoods, and I knew all the skaters, graffiti kids, of course, because I was growing up. But everyone did, you know. It's just like, it wasn't like skaters only knew skaters. It's like everyone kind of like, it was like a big subculture.
It was a big network, man.
Yeah, the city in general was just a big like culture of people that were into everything. And within skateboarding too, it was cool because then there was like kids that were more like us that were more street kids. But then, you know, there were all the other skaters that were into like still into punk rock and metal and all that. So we're around everything. We're around metal, we're around hip hop, we're around graffiti, we're around, so yeah, it's very diverse.
That melting pot.
Very diverse culture in San Francisco.
What brands were like kind of first in terms of like the fashion side of it? Because I know FTC is like a skate shop that they sell clothes, obviously, but the ones that stick out to me other than Diamond from those days is like Supreme in New York and Huff. I want to know like what was the timeline of those companies like coming out?
So as actual skateboard brands, well, I've been around for a long time, so I could kind of like touch on all that because I was there, I've seen it all. So as youngsters, there were brands that were making clothes for skateboarding, which was like Life's a Beach and shit. And they would make cool stuff that if you look at it now, you're like, damn, that's like streetwear. Like Mark Gonzalez used to wear these pants all the time. And I got some when I was a kid, which were like all over skull and crossbone pants.
Ooh.
And they're sick. And I seen some online the other day and they're like expensive now, but they're from Life's a Beach. He used to wear those. So those were made for skateboarding. And then Jimmy Z's were like baggy pants with like, you know, the belt. So in the 80s, skateboarding had some shit. Stussy, even though that was like more surf, but skaters were wearing that. So we considered it kind of like skate clothes. And then everyone was always, you know, all the skate companies were making t-shirts. But when it really became like more urban, even though Stussy was doing graffiti shit back then and like tags and all that, but we didn't think of it as like urban. Urban really was like, I think out of the city. See what I'm saying? Like even Think, like they started doing like Think tag shit. They did like collaboration with House of Pain or some shit back then. They were doing stuff, right? Like more hip hop related. Shout out Think Skateboards.
Yeah,
Keith
shout
Cochran.
out Giant too, doing a lot of those designs.
Yeah, and Mike Giant. So that's when I met Giant, is when I skated for Think. And he actually, my second logo I have, it's like a script. It's like a old English style sort of diamond script. He made that for me.
Fire.
Yeah, like years later, when I started Diamond. But I used to hang out with him all the time before he did tattoos or anything, when he was making all the art for Think Skateboards.
Yep.
But he's great.
He's the best.
Shout out Mike Giant.
Yeah.
But anyway, so back to that. New York was Zoo York.
Zoo York, yeah.
Zoo York was making ill clothes and stuff too. And before that though, honestly, like in the 80s, maybe around very late 80s, early 90s, Underworld Element, Andy Howe, who was also a graffiti artist who had Underworld Element, which later became Element Skateboards.
Right.
But he used to be called Underworld Element. And my friend Rick Ibiceta that I went to Lincoln High School with, he used to skate for them. Filipino dude, Rick Ibiceta, pro skater, amazing dude. He skated for them, and they used to make all kinds of crazy clothes. Where I'd be like, this is insane. Like they used to make like a hoodie that was like a backpack built into the hoodie, like all kinds of crazy shit. So I feel like the beginning of like skate clothes that were more streetwear, actual streetwear, was New York. Think Underworld Element was the beginning of that. And then Supreme, not really. I mean, kinda. They were doing like t-shirts and hoodies, and they were making pieces back then, but it wasn't like poppin' yet, as like New York obviously was already like full apparel at that time. And Supreme and FTC were both just really skate shops that ended up, becoming huge clothing brands.
What about Huff? Was Huff before?
Huff came later. Yeah, Huff came later, but Keith's I've known Keith forever, knew Keith forever, rest in peace, since he, lived in New York and he started coming to San Francisco. And I remember he skated for Fun Skateboards that was owned by Ron Allen. And Ron Allen is from the East Bay.
Bro, when Huff had that little shop in Nob Hill, oh my God, I used to come out with the flyest kicks ever.
Yeah, so Huff, he's from New York, but he started his brand in San Francisco. So Huff is a San Francisco brand. People always say Huff's a New York brand. I'm like, no, it's not.
Nah,
just because he's from there.
I was shopping at Huff before y'all knew what Huff was, man.
He started it in the city.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so brands from the city, it's like obviously Thrasher, which is magazine. There's a lot of skate brands though. Like the skate brands like Real and Thunder and Independent and all these things, but brands that actually did like clothes and shit that kind of blew up in clothes is Huff, FTC, Diamond. Back then, I mean, there's more now, but Diamond, I think, yeah, we're the ones. Spitfire had some, shirts and shit people were wearing that didn't even skate. People
I was gonna say because like
the flame.
A lot of these brands in middle school and shit was just like it was just drip.
People were wearing it. It was fashion. Like it was just clothes.
It was some fly shit. It was different.
Yeah.
Because I think our fashion in the Bay has always been like if you're wearing what everybody else is wearing, you ain't doing it.
Yeah.
It's all about coming with the some shit that makes someone go, where did you get that?
Yeah.
And we always like being on our own type of time with that.
And Extra Large had a store on, they're from LA, but they had a store on Haight way back in the day. And then it moved to the Mission. But I used to go there. That's when I first started tripping on like streetwear stuff.
Yeah.
I'd go in there and look at clothes. And then there were some other stores on Haight that sold like graffiti shirts and shit. But back then we didn't really there wasn't a lot of clothes. We'd go to the thrift stores on Haight.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of shit too that was fly to me back in the day was just Carhartt and Ben Davis.
Yeah, for sure. Ben Davis, of course. Fucking SF Classic right there. I would like, they had the store over there in Mission, way up Mission. What store was that? I don't think it was a Ben Davis store. Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Like
over
on the corner, way up.
Heights.
Yeah, exactly. So I used to go there and buy all the Ben Davis and shit, the pants, and then the collared shirt with the little zipper that came down to here with the little Ben Davis on the pocket.
I still rock those.
Yeah, those things are hard. I used to wear those since I was a kid.
I still rock those.
Yeah, those are hard. I just bought some Ben Davis like last year. I bought like 3 pairs. I was just in the Valley over here, and I went into some work store to get some Dickies, and they had Ben Davis, and I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
I never see Ben Davis in LA.
I mean, it's just interesting because it's like before it was known as streetwear, it was about, like I said, like flipping shit. So you might flip some skater clothes, you might flip some work clothes, you might flip some dress clothes and make it all part of your overall style.
Yeah. But we used to shop. Yeah, so clothes that we used to wear back then during all this time, I'd really get shit down at I'd buy shit on Market Street.
Oh yeah.
There was Kaplan's.
Oh yeah.
Go to Kaplan's, and they had all kinds of crazy shoes
Oxford
too.
Street.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
Market Street,
and I used to,
New Step Fashion, all that.
Yeah. And then there was Adidas Heartputs for shoes over in the Fillmore.
Mm.
And then there was Copeland's always had all the Jordans and shit. So I used to go there. But then, you know, our thing back then, all of us at Embarcadero, what we would do is we'd go to Ross and Marshall's on Market, and we'd switch the price tags.
That's the move.
So we'd go in there, and I'd get
That's the move.
and what they would have is they would always have like polo chinos. And I used to work at Macy's at the time, and I'd go buy all the polo chinos from there, and of course I'd switch the price tags to like fucking, you know, $5.99, $6.99. I'd get them, and then I'd bring them back to Macy's, and they would return stuff without a receipt. So I'd just bring the chinos in there and return them for $98 a pair.
Damn.
And I'd buy them for $6. And I'd do it all the time. They would never say anything. Because I didn't work. I worked on the other side. I worked in the women's building, in the men's building where they had polo and shit on the downstairs.
Yeah.
I'd go there and do it, and they'd never say anything. And I did it so much that I'd be like, how are they not like knowing what the hell I'm doing?
Yeah.
But then when I'd go in there too, like on my lunch breaks and shit, I'd go in there and I'd see what they would have. Or I'd remember shit they had. So when I went to, from before, and when I'd go to those stores, I'd be like, oh, they used to have this. And I'd buy it from Ross and change the price tag and bring it in there and get like full cash back. It was a thing. But that's what we'd wear though. We'd wear polo, Nautica. But that was during that time. That was like the early 90s when like Mobb Deep and Wu-Tang and a lot of fashion was influenced by East Coast at that time.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Fucking Timberlands and all that.
And Frisco has like a New York metropolitan type of vibe to it compared to the other cities in the Bay and other cities in California.
But we'd mix it up though. We'd still wear all the, you know, the Bay Area shit like starter jackets, and everyone was wearing those, of course.
North Face.
Yeah, North Face and a lot of sports apparel. But then, of course, when Wu-Tang and all these dudes are wearing polo and rapping about polo, everyone started wearing all that. Helly Hansen, polo, fucking Nautica. We're all rocking that shit as skaters too.
When you moved down here to LA, seems like it's almost the time that streetwear was actually becoming a real thing, right?
Before.
It was right before, huh?
No, I moved to LA before streetwear really became a thing. So I moved to LA in 2000 at Girl, and there was a couple brands. Guys that worked at Girl had t-shirt brands. Guy Mike Leone, he had a brand called Commonwealth Stacks, and this guy Andy Mueller had a brand called The Quiet Life, still around. But he was a designer at Girl and Lakai shoes. So when I met them, I was doing Diamond out of there, and I talked to them about their brands. I'm like, yeah, we sell it to people that all over, like we don't sell to stores. And I'm like, what do you mean? They're like, yeah, we do like a mail order. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, yeah, we sell them for like $30, $40 a tee. Back then, skate shirts and shit were like, you know, $19.99, $24.99. Right. Like $30, $40 shirts didn't exist. And they're telling me this, and I'm like, who are these people? How do you meet them? They're like, on the internet. What the fuck are you talking about? Like, how? Email. Like, people, we have like a mail list. We send it out. And I was like, holy shit. So this is like brands that were streetwear, which you would consider streetwear now. They're just making like artist tees and shit.
Yeah, graphic tees. They would do art,
graphic tees, and they'd send them. So I was always intrigued by that. Then being in LA, I started meeting some dudes who had streetwear brands. This guy, Greg, he had a brand called Situation Normal. Undefeated ended up opening. And Eddie Cruz, shout out Eddie Cruz. I started giving him diamond shirts. He'd be like, that's sick. Like, whatever. So built friendships with all these people in the sneaker community in LA before we dropped the Dunk. So then the Nike Dunk came 5 years later. But during that time, I was meeting a lot of people that were into clothes and making clothes that weren't skaters, people into sneakers. Because I was big into sneakers ever since. I mean, even back in the city, I was just a sneakerhead.
Yep.
Ever since. But, you know, I grew up in the group home with a bunch of, you know, kids that were street kids that were into fucking Nikes and shit my whole life and wearing like, you know, Fila sweatsuits and Nike sweatsuits and like old school shit, starter and all that. I was just a skater, but I got into all that mainly because of them. From, you know, kids that were like from the hood and shit. They were like really in, obviously San Francisco's always been like that. Like, you know, even back then they all had rhinestones on their hats and all kinds of shit. Like kids are wearing now.
Yeah.
Like all rhinestoned out hats back in the group home. All the kids had that type of shit. That's cool that all came back because that's what like every brand makes now. But yeah, all that shit, the San Francisco fashion was always a thing in the hood, especially. People were really into clothes and sneakers always. Where in LA, I feel like gangsters were like Ben Davis, Dickies and shit, right?
Yeah,
Dickie suits, NWA is different. In the city, people were more into like just like fashion in general, it seemed like.
Yeah.
But yeah, so with the where was I at?
We were talking about the rise of streetwear.
Yeah, so with that, then I started meeting all those people, and there was a point when I was at Girl that I was like, I told them, I'm like, hey, I got a lot of people rocking my shit. Like, and at this time I was like, you know, fucking with a lot of rappers, people outside of skateboarding, you know, people were like wearing diamond, like not just skaters were wearing diamond. And I was like, I need to like go out beyond just skate because I'm not just skate. I like all this shit too. So culturally in skateboarding, it was kind of weird for brands to, it's okay if people are wearing it, but to actually like accept it and like start selling to people outside of skate and marketing to people outside of skate was weird to people from like core skate brands.
Yeah,
like,
there's a little bit
wasn't
of
acceptable.
like some gatekeeping going on.
Yeah. But I was like, fuck it. I'm a sneaker dude. I'm into clothes. All these dudes want my shit. They like my shit. And that's around the time that the 2005 that my Nike Dunk collab came out, and that really propelled us into streetwear. Like people were already fucking with it, but then that really put us out there to a bigger audience. So I told them like, I'm going to start selling my t-shirts for $30 instead of $24. And they're like, no, you're not. I was like, yeah, I'm going to raise the price. And they're like, you can't do that. Like they weren't going to let me do it out of their distro. So I left. So that's a reason, the number one reason why I left, because I felt like that was going to hold me back from what I wanted to do.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a trip though, because it's like now it's nothing to pay like $200 for a hoodie.
$100 for a tee.
$100 for a
t-shirt.
That's low.
That's low now.
Oh damn.
That's low now. I was just in New York and I was tripping out. I was going, you know, I was checking out some stores, and there's like, you know, there's still brands obviously that sell like, you know, $30 tees, but then, you know, some sell 60. I think Supreme's probably like 50, 60 maybe. I don't even know how much they sell this shit for now. But when I go to other stores that weren't skate, 280, 400 for t-shirt. Crazy shit. I'm like, damn, this is crazy.
Yes, I mean, to me, that's kind of what streetwear became, is like the same way like designer shit, like a fucking black t-shirt from Balenciaga is gonna run up a check.
Yeah.
It's like these like homegrown skate and hip hop and cultural brands were just like, fuck it, I'm gonna charge I'm gonna set my value in a similar way.
Yeah, but the quality has to be there too, though. So that's the thing. Like, even like someone like Supreme, they probably still just print on blanks, right? So they keep the price kind of low. But if they're doing all their shirts cut and sew, like a lot of the new brands are, because a lot of the streetwear brands now, they're just making all their shit from scratch. They're not just printing on blanks, because printing on blanks, it's like some people do it, of course, and they charge a premium. But I think the ones that are actually popping, like, say brands like Hellstar or someone, their LA brand, they make their own shit. They make their own shirts from scratch, and they charge like $150, something like that. You know, but it's like, then they do all the crazy washes and the, you know, the oversized print, which is expensive on both sides. So it's kind of like an expensive shirt to make,
Yeah, that makes sense.
So it makes sense to be able to be like, okay, I'm selling it for $150 because this is costing me. And you also have to think if you sell it to a wholesaler, because the way that it works is, so a shirt like that, it might cost him up to $30 just to make a shirt. So then if you sell it to a store, you have to get at least a 50% margin. So you're selling it to them. If it's costing you 30, you got to sell it to them for 60. And then the store has to make their 50 to 60% margin. So when you sell it to the store for wholesale, which would be double what you made it for, if it costs you 30, it's 60. Now in the store, it's 120 to 150. So it makes sense.
We're talking with a real hustler here, ladies and gentlemen, because I'm just listening to you talk, and that's all game. This is shit that motherfuckers go to get a master's degree to figure out.
Yeah.
Were you figuring all this shit out like as you go, just like, because honestly, bro, when I see like your come up, it does remind me of like because we all come from like slinging trees and shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
You go from an eighth to a half ounce to a pound, and like I feel like you're doing this all just like as you go and just really soaking the game of how this hustle works.
Yeah, I mean, I've been doing it this is 27 years of Diamond this year.
But I'm saying back then, was this all?
I just learned on the way.
Yeah.
On the way. But, you know, I mean, obviously the motivation was rap music, of course, as a kid. Because look what everyone talked about. Like, look at Explosive Mode and all that shit. And even Too Short. You know? So it's like all the rappers back then, and they'd always just be talking like the Frisco game is just hustle, you know? And JT and all that.
It's an expensive city. You have to hustle. You got to have at least one side hustle.
So just pounded into my head every day from the music we'd listen to was like hustle and grind, right? So it's like, oh, I got to get it.
When it comes to like developing your brand, because like I mentioned, this distinct color, I feel like it's such a big part of it. It makes you stand out so much. And then the logo too that we're talking about that Al designed is so like ubiquitous. What are some of the most important things that you learned about like developing an actual brand?
Being real consistent and not steering too far away from the identity of the company. And that's what I've done with Diamond the whole time is I feel like people have always, you know, I have my fans because I make shit. Well, I've always made stuff that I personally like. So I've never really been chasing after other trends unless I like that trend, you know, like if a brand makes something or something becomes popular or the evolution of styles change, I'm always evolving too. So some shit I'll see, I'll be like, oh, that's tight, you know, and then I buy something like that, then I end up making something like that, but I don't make shit that I don't like. Like even if I see a trend, you know, that's popping, if people are making all this money doing something, I don't just go make that because it's steering away from my personal taste of what. That's why the brand just seems. I guess when I look back at all my old shit, I'm like, looks like Diamond. You know what I mean? It doesn't look like other shit. It just looks like Diamond because it's coming from me, and I'm the only designer. Like I design all my own shit. I don't have a design team or anything.
So this whole run, it's been
99% me.
Wow.
Yeah. So I've had there's been a few years that went by during times when like mid 2010s, like probably from like 2010 till 2013, I had some other people designing with me because I was traveling so much. I was doing like a lot of traveling.
Are we
like
talking
everywhere.
like you're getting on Illustrator and
yeah, I do all the
design. Do all of it.
Yeah. Thanks to Al, taught me that
Al
shit back in the
shows you
day.
the game. Wow.
Yeah, so and obviously I do it every day still. Like every day I'm designing.
I didn't know that, bro.
Yeah, I do all the graphics.
What?
I do all the graphics myself, all the Photoshop, Illustrator.
Oh, that's tight.
And then, I'll draw shit, scan it in, fix it up. I'll, just do lots of Photoshop work, Illustrator. I design everything. I do tech packs. I do everything. I do it all.
I love it.
Deal with the factories.
I love it, Nick.
But of course, I get production people too. Like I right now, I'm working with Mega from Blacksco. He's helping me do production.
Another iconic San Francisco brand.
Yeah. So he's a very old friend. Met him back when he worked at Huff back in the day. But he right now, him and his boy, they have like a little production studio where they do production for other brands, as well as he does black scale. But because right now I'm kind of like on the design tip for Diamond, I'm like the only one, and then I use them to do my tech packs right now. I'll do tech packs too, but you know it's time consuming, so I'll just throw it to them and then they do it for me. But yeah, so everything you see from Diamond is just straight out of my brain, you know?
Well, when we're talking about branding, I think that's what a brand is somebody's personality, is someone's taste, and the most unique thing that you can offer is yourself. Because like you said, otherwise it's going to end up looking like somebody else's wave. But if it's your own thoughts, your own experience, your own preference, that's when you arrive at something that's unique to you.
Yeah, and growing up in the city, like all the shit I went through, like I was saying, that from a kid and all things I was into, from early skateboarding, punk rock, to hip hop, to graffiti, to clothes and fashion and all the shit that like is what Diamond is. It's like I've evolved it all into my own personal style in my past, and even now still like t-shirt graphics I make, it might be something that I was reminded of from fucking being lower hate, fucking around with our boys and seeing something back then, be like, oh, this kind of looks like that. I'm making something like, you know, like ideas come from everywhere just because of my experiences in the city a lot. Yeah. And now in LA, I've been there for over 20 years. But LA's great too. I love LA.
Me too.
LA's awesome.
Well, it's interesting because you made that transition from skating into clothes, and then like you said, hip hop. You've had a big role in hip hop as well, and collaborating with other artists. I mean, a lot. Lil Wayne, right? You did some with Wayne?
Did I ever do? Only with the Grizzly Grip Tape, which is another brand.
Because he's into the skate shit too.
Yeah. But I never did anything with Wayne specifically for like a collab, but he's been rocking the brand.
Right, okay.
He's actually the biggest artist outside of when I was first doing the stuff with Quinn and all these guys in the city. Back when I dropped the, I don't know if you remember this, I did a Misfits tee with gold teeth back in the day.
I do remember that.
Okay, so when that shirt came out, this is way back. Like this is fucking 20 years ago or whatever. He, out of nowhere, ended up on the cover of Rides magazine, him and Lil Baby. Doesn't or Baby? Yeah.
Oh, Baby. Yeah. Birdman.
Yeah, Birdman, I mean. Yeah. So him and Birdman were on the cover of Rides magazine. He's wearing the shirt. And everyone's like, holy shit, this dude's wearing your shirt, Lil Wayne. And they were popping Hot Boys and all that shit. And then throughout the magazine, he's in there wearing it. And I was like, oh, damn. Like he's the first big artist that was rocking the shit. But yeah, then over the years, you know, we became cool. And then, you know, he started skating. But he was always wearing Diamond, like all the time. And then for collabs, I did like some Bay Area collabs. I did, you know, a mixtape with Kaz Kaiser.
Droopy too, right?
Yeah, I did a Droopy one. I love Droopy.
Shout out Droopy, man.
Shout out D40. I did stuff with him, mixtape. I did a Soul Assassins. My first LA thing is I did a Soul Assassins mixtape with DJ Muggs and Chase Infinite. We did that way back in the day. We did a Soul Assassin shirt. And then from there, I started, you know, doing Rick Ross. Rick Ross came into the Diamond store randomly when I first opened 2007-ish. He came into the store. Maybe it was 2006, 2007. He came into the store randomly. I wasn't there. This was after Hustlin' came out. And the dudes called me from the store and like, hey, that dude fucking, that rapper Rick Ross is in the store. And he's like getting a bunch of shit. And they said that he was walking through the store and he was like pulling up shirts. He's like, yeah, I got this one already. Wow. I got like, he was already buying it from MIA Skate Shop in Miami.
Wow.
Yeah, so he was already going in there and getting it. So then they were like, man, he's been here for like 2 hours hanging out with us. He bought his pizza and everything. And I was like, shut the fuck up. I was like, that's crazy. And
that's
I didn't know.
Pretty classy right there.
Yeah, he's dope. I mean, you know, people hated on him because they say, oh, he's a correctional officer. Well, whatever the case, people think of Rick Ross because of that. He's the coolest dude ever. Like, I love the guy. He's amazing. So then after that, and that just shows you what kind of guy he is, right? Buys the employees pizza. He's hanging out with them for 2 hours. He's like this rapper coming up. He's big at the time because of hustling and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Then when he came back, I had them give my number. So then one of his boys hit me up and they're like, "Hey, we're coming back, whatever." So then I met him, and that's when we decided to do the Rick Ross collab. We did a Maybach Music Group collab, and that went crazy. And then I did Raekwon 2008. Ended up doing a big Raekwon collab, and he would come to the store and we'd hang out. And I did Big Sean, Wiz Khalifa, bunch of Currency shit, Alchemist, bunch of people back then. Like back then, a lot of music projects. Diddy did some stuff with Puffy, did some Bad Boy stuff, and then he had some other projects. Cassie, I did that's one of our biggest collabs was the Cassie thing, and still when you go online,
that was the photo.
Yeah, that shirt's still hundreds of dollars on eBay and shit. But that was in 2010. I did Cassie. So back then, early, I was like I think I was the only brand really doing music collaboration and mixtapes. Lots of mixtapes. I did Styles P mixtape.
Yeah.
I did a bunch of shit.
Bun B? It was some Bun B?
Did a lot of Bun B collabs. No music though. But we did, multiple Bun B collabs, t-shirts and all that stuff. So yeah.
I mean, it's another right place, right time moment because this 2009, 2010, 2011 is also when the mixtape game is going crazy on the internet. Streetwear by then is definitely a thing where it's like multiple high-end streetwear brands, the internet. This is almost like what I would say is like the hype beast era where like hype beast culture really kind of came into effect and you were kind of like situated perfectly to
with the whole sneaker shit, the shoe, and then you're right. Culturally, yes, Diamond was the one. We were probably one of the only brands that were doing it on that level. Supreme did some music collabs, but I feel like we were doing it like all the time. Like I was really doing events and shit. I was going to South by Southwest every year. I did a big Def Jam collab. We built our own stage at South by Southwest and did a big collab with Def Jam and had everyone come perform. We had Wiz, T.I., fucking everyone you could think of from back then, Future, like everyone came through and like rocked the stage for our thing. So culturally in music, we were doing it big in that scene,
pretty big,
way
man.
back then. And then we threw the Fairfax event with Crooks. We shut down just Crooks and Castles, Diamond, Fairfax. We built the stage. We got the city to approve it, and it went so crazy they never let us do it again because we closed down the street and like 60,000 people showed up in like less than a week of us announcing it. We built a stage. We had Pusha T perform, Nipsey Hussle, Dom Kennedy, like hella people. Hella people.
And then you did something similar on Hay Street.
And then we did the Hay Street one too. Had a bunch of people come out and perform. Rich Rocka too. That shit was tight. I love him, your boy.
That's my guy. Yeah. Damn, this is a hell of a run, bro. Are you still like the sole owner?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, I've never had investors.
Have you had offers to sell?
Back in the day, for sure. Now I'm probably one of the only brands. Actually, out of the older brands, I'm the only one that isn't owned by somebody else. Everyone's sold.
Everyone else is sold.
Every single one. Everyone's sold. 99% of every brand, and people that don't even know like that the brand sold. They sold. I'm probably one of the only ones that are still just self-funded, do it on my own type of shit. That's
because you're independent Bay Area hustler, man.
Not saying that, I mean, we'll see in the future what happens, but for right now, I'm just having fun. So I haven't even dropped any apparel since end of 2023.
I was going to ask that too. Do you feel, whether it's aesthetically or business-wise, that streetwear has kind of been on a downturn?
I don't think it's been on a downturn. I think it's the opposite. So people say that, but if you look at all the brands coming out in LA, and even being in New York, there's a bunch of brands. It's on the underground, it's popping. But for the mainstream, maybe streetwear is not as appealing as it was a few years ago to more of the mainstream market that kind of jumped on and all the high fashion streetwear.
Right.
It's still a thing though, for sure. But I feel that for me, I kind of stepped aside for a second because I'm doing a full brand. I guess you would say reconstruction of the brand. I wouldn't want to say that I'm changing much, except I want to do Diamond differently, because once it hit the 25 years of Diamond, I wanted to do something different. So I pulled out of all my retailers. I pulled out of Zoomies, Tilly's, PacSun, everyone. I dropped all my accounts. And been waiting for, now that shit's all gone. If you go on any of their websites, it's not there. But I want to do a brand relaunch, which I'm working on right now. I just took like 2 years off of making clothes. I started making the slides.
Yes.
And I dropped the slides only. So those blew up. Those are crazy. Those are going crazy. I was dropping those online this last little over a year now. I've been dropping those. Limited drops online. They sell out. And I'm still just doing that. But now they're about to launch in Shoe Palace. Shout out Shoe Palace. It's the only retailer that I'm going to be selling them at. Besides some moms and pops, I'm going to do that. But for big retailers, it's only going to be Shoe Palace. They're my friends. I used to sell Diamond back in the day. So I was like, what retailer am I going to sell them to? I was just thinking like, who would be the best that can actually push volume and culturally relevant and have dope shit. And I just felt like Shoe Palace, and they're from the Bay Area. So
it's a very interesting strategy, Nick.
Yeah.
I think 25 years, you have to reinvent yourself. Otherwise it gets stale.
Yeah, for sure. So that was my thing. It's like you could walk into the mall and Zoomies and Pack and all these places and there's just Diamond everywhere. That's cool. Yes, there's a lot of money there, but I feel like after all these years, I've done Diamond on such a big level, and kind of had to continue that because of warehouses, stores, employees, and have to pay all the bills. So it's like I couldn't just like slow up and be like, oh, now I need to stop, because if I stop, my employees can't feed their families, right? Because if I wanted to like bring it back to the core of when I started Diamond, right? So COVID happened, and then I was like, okay, this is like maybe a time or a chance that I could start figuring out how to bring Diamond back to its core. So, after COVID, I was still doing it, but I started, during COVID, I closed the stores, started not shipping to accounts anymore. And then 2023, I shipped my last shit. I did a collab with another Bay Area brand, Illust. I knew the dude from way back, Mark Arsenal. So he's a Bay Area brand from San Francisco. That was my last collab I did, 2023. And then I just like stopped everything. Got rid of my warehouse, got rid of everything, and just been figuring out like a brand restructure, making all my shit way nicer. Cause so that was one of the problems too. When you're at stores like Zoomies and stuff, shout out Zoomies, and I love them for all their support over the years. But when you're so tied into that, the product, it's hard to make great. The quality's not bad, don't get me wrong, but to make great quality, like especially now when a lot of luxury brands have come in to streetwear, and it's not just the price, but it's the quality. They're making like super high quality shit. I can't do that at those type of stores because they don't feel that their customer will pay the price.
Yeah, I was thinking too, it's also like something like with the cultural integrity of when you become a mall brand, like the I call it the Macy's Young Men's Department. and it kind of loses that edge of what I said earlier of like, you ain't got this.
Yeah.
You don't even know where to find this.
Yeah.
Because you don't know, because you're not tapped in with the culture.
That too, but same with the girl skateboard situation when they said, hey, you can't sell a $30, $40 t-shirt.
Right.
We're not going to allow you. It's the same, because now I'm like, I don't want to sell this tier of t-shirt anymore that's at Zoomies or any of these stores.
Right.
And they won't buy anything from me if it's higher quality because the price goes up.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to make that decision. So I'm like, yeah, I'm making all this bread, right? But I've been making bread with them for fucking 20 years. I want to bring the brand back. I want to do it how I want it to be, which is nicer. So yeah, New Diamond, when I launch, it's online only. Some specialty boutiques maybe, but really I'm just doing online, way nicer quality shit. The price, yes, more expensive, but not crazy, but where it has to be because of the price it costs to make all this stuff. So that's Diamond 2.0. It's Diamond. It's still Diamond. It's just way nicer quality. It's not available everywhere. And I'm launching that right at the end of this year. And I haven't made anything. The only thing I did is I dropped something for Complex Con last year. I dropped a shirt with my boy Reese LaFleur from Atlanta. He has a brand called Diva. I re-released the OG Iron Maiden shirt. I did that at Complex Con. And then I did, at the end of 24, I did a slide release. I released some red slides for Singapore exclusive. They have like a Complex Con type of thing out there called Culture Cartel. I went out there to Singapore and released the red slides with the shirt, sweatpants, and shit. But that's the only apparel I've made in 2 years.
Wow.
Yeah. So now I'm gonna launch this new shit.
Fire. I
Thanks,
can't wait to see where it goes from here.
Yeah.
And I'm excited because I heard you got something for me here.
I do. Here, let me grab it.
I got to let the cat out the bag or out the box, as it were.
Here you go.
Man, my brother, thank you. Wow.
Let me tell you guys about my jacket. I wore this jacket because right here it says 5 more years signed on 8/14/2020, which was exactly 5 years ago yesterday. I was like, oh, I'm going to wear it. This is a George Kittle Diamond times Levi's jacket that I did. I did a jacket with Jerry Rice, Debo, and Kittle. This is the back. We designed it together for a Levi's collaboration. So I was like, damn, what a perfect time. And tomorrow's the first game of the preseason.
Preseason
I was like, what a
opener.
perfect time to
That's
wear this
crazy.
jacket. I've only worn it a couple times, but he designed this shit with me, and then we made these, and they actually 5 years ago. But the thing is cool is for the 49ers Foundation, which all the money, it was like an auction, and then they gave all the monies to the 49ers Foundation to help inner city youth in San Francisco. And I'm like, that's where I'm from.
You're like, that was me.
That was me. So that's why this kind of means a lot to me.
That's dope.
And it's dope that he just signed 4 more years.
Yeah.
And Debo's gone, so that's whack.
Yeah. So this is our guy right now.
Yeah.
I'm glad you wore that.
And
Like,
recently,
now I gotta check these out.
and like a couple months ago, someone sent me a picture of him wearing the Diamond Dunks.
Wow.
He was like sideline wearing the Dunks, and I was like, that's tight.
That's ill. That's historic.
Yeah. But anyway, so these are the slides, and these came in, multiple colors, but I didn't have your size, but I got you
It's all
the
good.
clog version.
Let's check
But
it out.
the clogs are fire, and they're
Yeah,
sick because
really. Is this showing up
they're all
okay?
foam, and they're all foam. So these are dope in the rain. So this winter coming up here, these will be useful because they're like, as good as wearing like duck boots or something.
Oh yeah. Oh, this is heat.
But they're a little crazy.
This is crazy.
But they're crazy in a good way.
Yeah, this is
Like
definitely
people love
crazy.
them. Like diamond cut.
This is 2025 right here. This is the future.
Yeah, they're fire. They're super comfortable. Check out the insole. I did a fur insole. Yeah. It's all fur, but you can take it out too. So if you go to the beach or whatever, you can still
I don't think I would wear these to the beach, but
I'm just saying.
I'm gonna take care of these because
right on.
this has special meaning to me now.
Right on.
If you see me balling out in the diamond clogs, don't ask me nothing, man. You already know what time it is.
Yeah, but I'm hyped how these turned out. Everyone loves them and they're super comfy.
This is exciting, bro. I mean, even this box is crazy.
Yeah, thanks.
Very creative.
And then
bro.
Bump Box we did. This is for you too.
Thank you so much.
This is a collaboration with Bump Box, another Bay Area company. They're actually based in like San Jose, I think. But we did a special to match.
That's so fire.
So we're dropping this at SneakerCon LA next month with a special different colorway just for SneakerCon.
I'm gonna walk down Haight Street with the bump box and the
And
clogs,
the shoes,
bumping some Messy Marv.
Yeah,
man,
bro, there you go. Sick.
Well, thank you so much for
No doubt,
for the gifts and for linking up with me today, bro. Yeah. I'm so glad we finally got a chance to sit down and do this, and I hope to stay in touch. And
everyone go listen to Bailey's new album. He just hit me up randomly today and sent it to me. And I was like, I'm going to talk about you on the podcast. So shout out Bailey. Dope. He's another Fillmore.
of course, shout out
kid.
Champ Bailey and Fully Loaded. They were just on the podcast. So
Dope.
it's a Frisco thing, man, in a real
Yeah,
way.
and I listened to it today and I was like, damn, dude, this is fire.
That's
So,
what's up.
That's cool. Shout out Bailey.
No, it's good, bro. You've been like a very big supporter of so many things coming out the city, bro. So I feel like we gotta, stay behind you too and support Diamond Supply Company, and let's keep this going for another 25 years.
Hell yeah. Thanks,
Yeah.
bro. That's what's up.
My brother, Nicky motherfucking Diamonds in the building. Dregs One. Thanks again, Bootleg Kev, for the hospitality. Thanks again, Cook, for hooking it up. Thanks again, DJ Amen, and everybody out there watching. Stay tuned for more. Peace and love.
Recognize where you got the game. We got our own style, got our own slang. Northern California is a West Coast thing. This is the history of the Bay. Recognize where you got the game. We got our own style, got our own slang. Northern California is a West Coast thing. This is the history of the Bay.